Hello everybody and welcome to the first video for the first course on this channel, OPSEC for Absolute Beginners, or eOPSEC. My name is James Martin, and in this course I'm going to teach you how to keep yourself protected on the internet and keep your information from falling into the wrong hands. Now, three different groups of people have clicked on this video. Group A has no idea what OPSEC is and clicked on this because they were bored. Group B knows a little bit about cybersecurity from buzzwords and acronyms, but don't know how to implement it and don't know how to use it. And Group C knows about OPSEC, have heard about it, know the buzzword, may know the definition, but don't really know what it is or how to use it to keep themselves safe. For all three groups of those people, this is going to hold your hand through the entire process, and I'm planning on making this quick enough so that it doesn't become boring and tedious for you, while also having it be slow enough for you to perfectly understand everything that I say. In this course, I'm not going to say things and already expect you to know anything other than what's been discussed in previous videos in the course. So if you barely know how to turn a computer on, I will show you what files to click on, what websites to go to, and everything else. What is OPSEC? So OPSEC stands for Operational Security, and OPSEC is meant to protect your information both in the internet and in the real world. Now, going forward in this course, every time that I refer to operational security, I'm going to use the acronym OPSEC just to keep things simple. If you forget what OPSEC is, please feel free to come back here, and don't expect to learn everything the exact first time you hear it. Now, there's two different kinds of OPSEC. The kind of OPSEC we're going to be discussing in this course is going to be Internet OPSEC, or Electronic OPSEC, which I've shortened to eOPSEC 101 for this course. That is going to be, in the beginning portion, protecting your information from corporations who want to package your data, either using it for themselves or selling it to other companies for a profit without your permission or your consent. The other people that you're going to want to protect this from is your internet service provider, such as, let's say you have Xfinity or Spectrum or Comcast. They'll still be able to see what websites you visit, but they won't be able to see what you do on them. And in physical OPSEC, which I'll abbreviate to POPSEC for another course, this is keeping your information safe, but also keeping your property and yourself safe in the real world. And that will be in another course on this channel. However, a few things from this course will basically overlap and integrate with things from the POPSEC course as well. So what's in this course? Not everything that's going to be in this course is included in the slideshow because I didn't know what part I wanted to discuss them quite yet. But the things we will be discussing is VPNs, or virtual private networks. VPNs are basically encryption for your data. So say without a VPN, you connect to Facebook. Well, your ISP can see everything that you're doing through Facebook. Say that you're using an unencrypted website, which would be HTTP. And anybody who's looking at the network at all can see every single page you visit, can see all the information you send, including your emails and passwords, and it's just not a good time. With VPNs, you can encrypt all that information. It's basically like sending your data to another server that encrypts the data before it sends it to Facebook. Then you've got DNS, domain name servers, and while it's not complicated to set up or explain, I'm not going to explain it in the slideshow, because it kind of does a lot of things that a VPN would do, but it does them in a completely different way. Then we're going to discuss a VPN kill switch, and at that point you're probably thinking, ooh, super scary hacker word, but basically what a kill switch does is it sets your internet to the point where if your VPN ever disconnects, no information will be sent to or from your router until you reconnect to that VPN. So it's very easy to set up. It's very easy to explain too. Social media. This will explain what social media platforms are good to use, which ones are kind of in the middle where you have to decide that for yourself, and then some which are just horrible for OPSEC. Internet protocols, which is going to be IPv4 and IPv6, which one you want to keep enabled, which one you want to disable, and why. We're also going to discuss company privacy policies, and this kind of goes into social media in a way, but it's a bit different to where we're going to actually be reading a few privacy policies for ourselves, figuring out what exactly we want to look for, how to find it in the future, and reviewing them for ourselves and deciding if it's something we want to use based off the information we gather. That's kind of like OSINT in a way, but it ties into OPSEC very well. SSID broadcasting. If you've ever gone to look for a Wi-Fi network, say you're at Walmart, you want to use Walmart's public Wi-Fi. You go to the Wi-Fi list and you see Walmart Wi-Fi, but you also see like 20 or 30 other Wi-Fi networks, maybe for accompanying businesses or maybe homes around that Walmart. That is your SSID. And in that portion of the course, we're going to discuss how to disable your SSID so you can still connect to your Wi-Fi, but nobody else can even see it. And then creating a new identity, which sounds a bit intimidating, especially for the beginner portion of this course. However, it's really simple. And if you've ever used something like Discord or a forum or a video game website, and you didn't put your first and last name and you put, I don't know, I love kittens 420 or something like that, that is an online identity. In this portion, we're going to discuss how to create an entirely different person, but we'll get into that more later in this course. And then, of course, there's going to be more we're going to discuss. We're going to discuss things such as encrypted peer-to-peer networks. We're going to discuss different platforms, which are kind of like social media. But in that vein, we're going to have internet relay chat. We're going to have encrypted messaging services like Signal and Element and even Telegram. And I'll put them somewhere in here. I'll probably put those between DNS and VPN kill switch, but I'm not entirely sure as of right now, which is why they're not on this list. So what are the pros of learning OPSEC for beginners? Keeping yourself safe on the internet. Now, for beginners, you're going to be keeping information safe from, your internet service provider and other corporations who are trying to track your data. Now, if you've got the government after you, then this isn't going to do much, but intermediate, advanced, and expert, once those tutorials are out there, they'll explain how to keep yourself safe from them a little more in depth. Educating yourself, if you don't want to recommend my course to other people, but you feel like you got a lot of good information out of it, then you can pass this information along to someone else. I don't make these videos for money or for notoriety. I make these to teach as many people as possible. And if you want to educate just not just yourself, but other people out there, then you feel free to go ahead and do that. You don't have to reference them to me. Learn it for yourself and tell as many people as you possibly can. That helps me more than you could ever know. Now for the cons, the first con we've got is free for now. And everything in the beginner course is either going to have absolutely free or free variants. And while that doesn't sound bad, that's where the not so much later comes in. If you really care about your online privacy, you're going to pay money. That's going to be for VPNs at first, $6.50 a month on average. Not a lot of money. Just cut out going out to eat one day and you can pay like 3 months for it at minimum. But then there's also going to be parts like the advanced and expert courses where we're going to talk about Graphene OS, which is a custom operating system which keeps your privacy in mind by default. And we're going to discuss how to modify it. That requires you to have a Google Pixel phone. And if you don't have a Google Pixel phone and you want to do it, you're going to have to buy a Google Pixel phone. And phones are not cheap. Another con about the beginning portion of this course in particular is adapting to a new personality. Remember that I said we're going to be creating a new identity? Now, you don't have to use that when you talk to your close friends and family, but when you are talking to people on the internet, you have to be very careful about the information you give them, and preferably, you don't want to give them any information at all. But that is ultimately up to you. OPSEC works as best as you want it to work. And basically what that means is if you really care about your online privacy, you will spend the money and you will give it the attention that it deserves. But again, it only goes as far as you do. Now, what's first? Obviously, VPN is going to be first, and then DNS. Probably going to work something in between DNS and VPN kill switch, but VPN and DNS will absolutely be the first two videos on this course. So that is what you can expect to see. Now, I do recommend that you watch every single video in the course to get the maximum effort and effect out of it. But if there's some things you feel like you're already familiar with, then of course you can skip over some videos and come back to the ones that you feel like you need to watch. That is ultimately up to you. But VPN and DNS will be first. So, I hope you guys enjoyed the presentation. That's going to be the first video. If you did and you're excited, please consider leaving a like and a comment. If you really enjoyed the video, consider subscribing so that you don't ever miss any of my other videos. Again, it's not going to help me monetarily. I'm doing this to help you. And if you want to help yourself, you may want to consider subscribing. Or at least liking, because if you like the video, then the YouTube algorithm will recommend more of my videos to you in the future. But that's up to you. Either way, my name is James Martin. I hope you did enjoy, and I will see you in the next one for VPNs, which will probably be no later than July 6th.